We will complete the series in which we started from the beginning of Ramadan. So this will be the last of the series. And in today's talk we are discussing the story of Al-Imran. Al-Imran all the way down to Eesa alayhi salam. Allah begins when he discusses about Al-Imran. He says, Inna Allah astafa. Allah has chosen from everyone in the world. Allah has chosen Adam, wa Nuh, wa Ali Ibrahim, wa Ali Imran. Subhanallah. And in these words, we learn so much. Just by Allah saying He has chosen Adam and Nuh. Right? Allah has chosen Adam and Nuh. He didn't say the family of Adam or the family of Nuh. Because from the family of Adam, Zuh killed his brother. His own son killed his brother. And from the family of Nuh, his own son and wife disbelieved. And then Allah says, Wa Ali Ibrahim. The entire family of Ibrahim. And then Ali Imran. The entire family of Ibrahim. And then Allah begins mentioning the wife of Imran. Subhanallah. She makes a dua to Allah. And in this dua, she asks Allah to bless her with a son. The reason she asks for this dua is, subhanallah, she looks around and she sees Bani Israel. The people at the time were in disbelief, in chaotic, doing so much sin, chaos, corruption. So she wanted a son who Allah will unite their ummah upon. Subhanallah. She didn't want a son for herself. She was older in age. She had reached a big age. So she didn't want a son for herself. She wanted it for the ummah. Look at this woman, subhanallah. She wanted someone for the ummah. So then, subhanallah, Allah blessed her and she became pregnant. When she fell pregnant, she made a promise. She made a promise. Do you know what the promise is? Yeah?
The baby has to say Allah.
So the promise is that whatever is in her stomach is a servant of Allah. Muharrara, free to Allah, only to Allah. To serve Allah. To serve Allah and Allah alone. When she gave birth to a woman, a female. And then she says, oh my Lord, I have given birth to a female and a male, and the female is not like a male. Now she isn't saying this meaning, oh Allah, I made a promise, let's negate the promise. No, she then affirms the promise. She says, I gave birth to a female, and a female is not like a male. وَإِنِّي سَمَّيْتُهَا مَرْيَمَ. Does anyone know what Maryam means?
Is it a name?
It's a name, but every name has a meaning.
Is she the mother of Eesa?
She's the mother of Eesa, but Maryam means, go on, Jazakallah khair, a servant of Allah. Maryam means to serve Allah and to serve the mosque. وهي اجتمعت, joined are the two meanings in Maryam, to serve Allah and to serve the masjid. So she affirms her promise by saying, Inni sammaytuha Maryam. She is yours, O Allah. And we all belong to Allah anyway. But this is what it meant to remain truthful. And then she says, and I seek protection for her and her progeny, for her and her children from a shaitan. And the ulama, they say, in a hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, when a child is born, what's the first thing a child does when he's born? Cries. Does anyone know why the child cries? Because he's hungry?
Is it because the shaitan hits him?
Because the shaitan hits him on his stomach. He flicks his finger on his stomach. Yes? So shaitan flicks the child. So the ulama said, every person born, they cry because shaitan flicks them. Except for Maryam and Eesa. Alayhi salam. Maryam and Eesa. Except for Mary and Jesus, the shaitan couldn't touch them because كَانَ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَهُمْ حِجَاب. There was a hijab between them because of the dua of the wife of Imran, the mother of Maryam. She made this dua in protection of her children. Subhanallah. She was close to Allah. And she turned back to Allah. Whenever she wanted anything, she turns to Allah and she asks of Allah. Always. And this is what we should do. This is lessons we should take. Whenever we need something, we ask of Allah. So Maryam was born and her father passed away, her mother passed away. So they drew lots to see who will raise Maryam, who will look after Maryam. And Zakaria alayhi salam, when they drew the lots, 3 times he became the one, the winner of who will raise Maryam. And subhanallah, look at this. They raced, all of them, they raced to raise Maryam. Because she came from a pious family. She came from a good background, from a good family. So they all raced together to raise her. Just like at the time of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when a young girl became an orphan, he said, who will look after her? The Sahaba all raced to her to raise her and look after her. Why? Because the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Ana wa kafir al-yatim, me and the one who looks after the orphan are like this, kahatayn fil jannah, are like this in Jannah. And the one who narrated the hadith, he said, each one was poorer than the other, and each one was racing to try and raise her. They're all poorer than the other, and each one's trying to raise her, because they want to be close to the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So here, when Maryam becomes an orphan, they race to look after her. So Zakaria, when they drew lots, he became the winner and he looked after Maryam. And Allah tells us that every time Zakaria went to check on her, subhanallah, subhanallah, he is her foster parent, her foster parent. Not her real father or mother, her foster parent. And he checks on her constantly. What do we say of ourselves who are real fathers and parents? Do we check on our children? Do we sit with them? Do we see how they're doing on a daily basis? Here Allah teaches us that Zakaria, every time he entered to check on her, every time he went to visit her, he found with her rizqah. He found with her rizq, food. The ulama, they said, the reason why Zakaria was astonished, astounded by what she has, is she has fruits, the summer fruits in winter and winter fruits in summer. So he said, where do you get this from? Look at Maryam, look at the teaching, subhanallah. She says, verily it is from min indillah. It's from Allah. Not from myself. Not from myself, not from what I done. I didn't go out and get this, I didn't do this. She immediately ties it to Allah. It's from Allah. So when our children ask us, my father, where did you get this from? Always tie it by Allah first. It's from Allah. He guided me, He sent me here. Allah is the one who gave me this knowledge. Allah is the one who gave me this job. Allah is the one who gave me this wealth. And Allah can take it away. In test or punishment, it is all from Allah. So here she teaches him, it is from Allah. And as she is in her place of worship, when she was in her place of worship, Jibreel alayhi salam came down to Maryam in the form of man. In the form of man. Subhanallah, look at the first thing she says to him. As soon as she sees him, she says, إِنِّي أَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنَ الرَّحْمَنِ إِن كُنْتَ تَقِيًّا. I seek refuge in Allah from you if you fear Allah. If you knew what these words mean, you will fear Allah. I seek refuge in Allah from you. Yani, subhanallah, she is shaking him to his core, reminding him of Allah. Fear Allah in what you're about to do. Immediately he says, I am but a messenger from your Lord. I came to give you glad tidings. He gave her the glad tidings that she will bear a son. She says, how can I get a son when no man has touched me? He said, that is upon Allah easy. And Allah has already decreed it. Allah has already decreed it. Just like Allah created Adam alayhi salam from no mother and no father, He created Eesa, Jesus, with no father. Just like He created Hawa, Eve, from no father, from no mother, only a father, He created Eesa from a mother and no father. I've mentioned this in my talks previously. The cycle of creation is four. The cycle of creation is four. To create from nothing, and that was Adam alayhi salam. Allah created Adam from nothing. To create from only a man, and that was Eve. Hawa, Allah created Hawa from a man, from Adam. To create only from a mother, and that was who? Eesa alayhi salam. And then to create from both man and from mother and father, and that's all of us. And even today we still see this on a daily basis. There are animals out there that are born solely from a father, and other animals that are born solely from a mother. Today we see this. Not just that, put your hands up if you think a male can be pregnant. No, you're right. A seahorse. A seahorse, it's the male who carries the children and not the mother. This is the power of Allah, the will of Allah, the might of Allah. Allah is showing us that He can do everything. Yeah.
It's the same with a clownfish because when
the father looks after the offspring.
Yeah, so a father has to become a female after the mum dies.
So the father becomes the mother, meaning the one who protects and looks after the young, subhanallah. So Allah is showing us His might and His will and His power to do all things. Everything. We see it today, so why do we question when it comes to Eesa alayhi salam? Why do we question it? This is the will of Allah, this is the power of Allah, this is the might of Allah. So Allah created Eesa from only his mother. So when he was born, he comforted his mother. She went to a date palm, far out from the city, to give birth. Right? Because she didn't want anyone to see her. She was worried people will see her and see things about her. So she went far away, had the baby, and she said, oh, how I wish I had died and been long forgotten before any of this happened. So a caller called out from beneath her. And some ulama say this is the angels, or some ulama say this is Eesa alayhi salam. And the closest of Allah Ta'ala a'la wa a'lam is that it was Eesa alayhi salam to comfort her and to prepare her for what's about to happen. He called her, he spoke to her as soon as he was born. He told her that Allah has caused a river beneath her, to drink from it, to eat from the dates that fall, to shake the palm tree, and the dates will fall soft, sweet. Kuli washrabi waqarri ayna. Eat and drink and fill your eyes, meaning look at your child, hold your child. And this was to prepare her for what's about to happen when he speaks in front of the people. She won't fall in shock. She won't be scared. She won't be worried. She's already prepared. So when she returned to the people, and they started saying blasphemous words to her, cursing her. How could she come back with this, with a child, when she's not married? She's not married and she comes back with a child. She points at the child. فأشارت إليه. She points at him. You're asking me, ask him. So they said, how can we speak to someone who's still a newborn, still in the cradle? Subhanallah. Look at the first words he says. Inni Abdullah. Today, the people say Eesa is the son of Allah, or Allah himself. The first thing Allah tells us, or Allah caused Eesa to say, is to free himself from all shirk. Inni Abdullah. I am the servant of Allah. And a parent, you know your parents, they worry about you. And there's three main things they worry about you. Three main things. It doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are, they will always worry about these three things. The first one is your religion, your deen. Right? They always worry about your religion. Especially in this country. They worry about our religion. Then they worry about our wealth. Anyway, you know, when you start to grow, how will you live? How will you eat? What kind of lifestyle will you have? And they worry about your life itself. How long will you live for? How long will you be with us? These are three things your family will always be worried about. Inshallah, we'll leave the questions to the end.
About their wealth because if they have like not that much money, like or just 1 cent, that means you'll be poor, and then adult, and that means they have to start studying again as they like when they were
So yes, they worry about your wealth, they worry about your life, they worry about your religion. Yes? So Eesa alayhi salam, the first thing he does is comforts his mother. Comforts his mother. By speaking to them, but he's comforting his mother. What does he say? Inni Abdullah. I am indeed devoted to Allah. I am the servant of Allah. He has given me the book and appointed me a prophet and made me a prophet. So he is telling her, my religion is safe. Oh my mother, my religion is safe. And by saying a prophet, meaning at old age, meaning I will live a life, inshallah. So two things here, he's resolved. Now she's worried about his wealth. Now she's worried about how will he survive. He says, and he has made me blessed, Mubarak, wherever I am. And he has taught, and he's enjoyed upon me the salah and the zakah. So now she doesn't have to worry about his wealth. She knows that wherever he is, Allah will bless him and feed him and look after him, take care of him. And he has made me dutiful to my mother, subhanAllah. After everything she's done. Everything she's done. Looking after him, carrying him. Then going through the pains of labor, of birth. And he has made me dutiful to my mother. He is affirming his mother, I am good to you. And did not make me arrogant, jabbar and shaqiyya, arrogant or unblessed. And the ulama, they say, subhanallah, if you are aaqib liwalidayk, if you are bad to your parents, you will become shaqi in this dunya. Shaqi in this dunya. Meaning you will struggle in your life. And if you are bad in the walidayn, if you are good to your parents, what does the ayah say? I will not be arrogant or unblessed. So Allah grants him the barakah because he was good to his parents. Just like the Rasul ﷺ told us, he was speaking to Umar one day and he said, Ya Umar, if you see so and so from Yemen, from a place in Yemen, distant place in Yemen, when you see him, ask him for anything, for his dua is accepted. Ask him to ask Allah to forgive you, his dua is accepted. Why? Because he is good to his mother. Because he is good to his mother. This man is a tabi'i. Even though he was around at the time of the Rasul ﷺ, but he never met the Rasul ﷺ. Every time he wanted to meet the Rasul ﷺ, his mother was ill. His mother needed him. So he stayed beside his mother. He took care of his mother. He looked after his mother. And when it came time to perform Hajj, he couldn't go out because he was taking care of his mother. So every time a group from Yemen came, Umar radiallahu anhu used to say to them, Afikum Awais, amongst you is Awais, the one from such and such place. In his body he used to have leprosy, but Allah cured him except for the space of a dirham, except for the space of a coin. And they said, no, he is back home. Until one day he came. So he walked up to him and he says, are you Awais from so-and-so, from so-and-so? He said, yes. He said, ask Allah to forgive me. He said, if someone like me, ask Allah to forgive someone like you, Ya Umar, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, Wallahi, I heard the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, if you see so-and-so, ask him to ask Allah to forgive you, for his da'wah, his call, his prayer to Allah is mustajab, because he is good to his parents. The man began to cry. He says, the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam remembered me. He's never met the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But this is what it means to be good to your parents. That's Allah. You are remembered with Allah. And the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he said, إن من أكبر الكبائر الشرك بالله وعقوق الوالدين. From the biggest sins is shirk. Right? Everyone knows here shirk is the worst. So, because if someone dies upon shirk, he's never forgiven. He's straight to hellfire. But if you die upon anything else, then Allah might forgive you. But what did Allah group with shirk? Being bad to your parents. Subhanallah. Being bad to one's parents is of the major sins. So therefore we should always be good to our parents. They cared for us when we were young, when we were weak, when we had nothing, and if they didn't care for us, we wouldn't be here today. So they cared for us and looked after us. So when they grow older and they need you, do we say to them, uff? Do we say to them, no? Or should we say, hada? Yes. The difference is when they cared for you, they loved you and they wanted to take care of you and they wanted life for you. Wallahi, I hear of people today who are my age or older complaining of their parents. Wallahi, they complain of their parents. And they say, one of my parents has got dementia. You know, where they forget everything. My parents have dementia and now I have to look after them. I can't wait for them to die. At least they'll be in ease and I'll be in ease. They looked after you with love and emotion and devotion. So let's return that favour when we are called upon and when our parents need us. Let us be of those who say, Hada, yes, labbaik, I obey, I am here, I answered. Because this is what it means to be good to your parents. That the reward is with Allah. Because wallahi, from Allah, the one who disobeys their parents has disobeyed Allah. Because Allah is the one who told us to be good. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Allah has decreed that you do not worship except for Him and be good to your parents. Allah linked the worship to being good to your parents. Worship of Allah is being good to your parents. So we should always be good to our parents. So Eesa alayhi salam, the first thing he does is he says he is the servant of Allah. And then he says Allah has given him the book and made him a prophet. And that he is good to he is blessed wherever he is on this land. And that he is good to his parents, to his mother. And then he ends it with, because his mother is now worried, because they killed Zakaria, they killed Yahya. These are the people who kill the prophets. So she's like, oh my God, now they're going to kill him. So he says, وَسَلَامُ عَلَيَّ peace and blessing be upon me, the day I was born and the day I died, and the day I shall be raised alive again. Subhanallah. So he has freed his mother from all accusations. And he has confirmed that he will be a prophet. And that he is blessed wherever he is. The question is, where is Eesa right now? Because they tried to kill him. But Allah saved him and raised him into the heavens. He is alive right now with Allah. Alive right now with Allah, waiting for the time for him to come back down. And the time for him to come back down will be one of the major signs, one of the signs of As-Sa'ah, of Judgment Day, where he will come down, because nobody will be able to kill the Antichrist, Al-Dajjal, except for Eesa. Al-Dajjal is called Al-Masih. Al-Masih. Why is he called Al-Masih? يمسح الحق بالباطل. Because he corrupts the truth with batil, with falsehood. And Eesa is called Al-Masih because Yamsah, he removes the corruption and replaces it with guidance, with goodness. And he's also called Al-Masih Yasihu fil ard, because he travels the land. Hada is the story of Eesa in short, but not just Eesa, the story of Al-Imran, when they came together and unified for the sake of the Ummah. When the wife of Imran asked Allah for a son that he may unify the Ummah, their Ummah, Allah blessed her with a daughter. And through her daughter, Allah blessed them with a son that became a prophet and unified their Ummah. Until this day there are still Christians. Till this day there are still Christians. Even though they're upon misguidance, at one time they were upon guidance, and they unified under the teachings of Eesa alayhi salam. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيد المرسلين وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.